morning. This is Ellen, Sisters 3 Farm, all things about rug hooking. And today I thought I would share with you what I do when it's really hot and steamy here in Massachusetts. So hang on, it's Quillies. So what are Quillies and how do we make them? Well, first you need to find your scraps. And I mean scraps from your wide hooking, or what's even better, when you pull your salvages off of your bolt wool or the edges of your, anytime you have one of those salvages, you want to do that. So let's get up a little closer here. All right, so I have all of this bucket here full of edges, full of pieces of fabric that I've saved over the years or months, because I don't like throwing things away. So what do you do with these? You make quillies. And what's a quillie? A quillie is anytime you take one of these strips of wool and you roll it up and you sew it together so it's in a permanent shape. Now, you can certainly do one quillie like this at a time, so it's just a solid color. What I like is making quillies that have two strips together. And so you're getting an interesting color pattern. So you can see just these, a few of them that are different. And so what you do is you're going to take, let's find two that I like and that are about the same size. So this is a salvage and then just a piece of wool that's left over. So I'm going to start rolling them. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but you roll it up till it gets about a size that you want. This one I will roll until I get to the end of the gray. So it's a little bit of a small quillie. Where's my scissors? And then I'm going to cut off the extra. And I'm going to put a pin in there to hold it. So there we go, we just held it right now. Then I'm going to take a needle, a fat needle, but it has to have a sharp end to it because we need to go through multiple layers of wool. And we're going to put a knot at the end, one end. And I wrap the thread around my needle, I pinch it with my fingers, I pull it through, and then I get a lovely little knot right at the end, right there, a lovely knot. And so where did my piece of wool go? Here we go. Here's my quillie. I'm going to bury my knot because I don't like seeing my knots. And I bury it underneath the first little flip over of wool. And then I just go back and forth. I don't need that pin there anymore. And I tack the edge down because we don't want this to unroll. So tack it down like twice. That should be good. And then I want to go through that all the way through to the other side. Now these quillies are small, my needle's a good size, it goes through very easily, and then we go back and we make a knot, we tie it off. I just go back through one of the other pieces of thread, make a loop, make a knot, pull it tight, and then I anchor it once more because I don't like seeing my ends and loose threads hanging around. And I trim it. Okay. Then when I get a whole bunch of these, and you can see if they're a little overlap, if one's a little too taller than the other, you can trim it. They trim nice and easy. Wool is very forgiving. And then you get a nice little quillie. Pretty good. When I get a lot of these quillies together, then I can have fun making some interesting designs. And how do I do that? Well, the magic thing is that we have a special needle. It's for when you're sewing dolls. It's a doll's head needle, and it's very long. Probably about 4 inches or so. And again, I take my heavy thread, pull out a length, You want to go about arm length, but not any longer than arm length, because then it could have the potential for getting knots in it. And take your doll's head needle, thread it, and you can do a knot any way that you're comfortable making a knot. So you can still do the around 3 times. Pinch it, pull it down, or you can just tie a knot at the end, whatever you find easiest. And then you're going to take some of your quillies, the ones that you've trimmed to be about the same size. And these two look pretty good. And what I like to do is bury the edges for now, because that's just the way I am. I like to bury my edges together. So what I'm going to do is go through here, all the way through the middle, and then take your next quilly and go all the way through the middle. And I like to come out at the middle because it makes for a stronger design. It holds them together really well. Maybe we need to lower this a little further so you can see it even a little better. So here we go. So we're going to go through. So I have these two together, but they're a little floppy still. So what are you going to do? You're going to go back through a second time, just about a 1/4 inch away from the last one, and out the other side. Then what do? Well, I think I want to add another quilly. So let's find one that you like, and I think I'm going to attach it about here. All right, what do? I go back where I came out, and you go at an angle, so you're coming out the other side. Can you see that? You're coming out the bluish one, the light colored one now. Pull it out. All right, so now I have it anchored to one side, but not the other. See, it comes apart. So we want to make this nice and strong. So you go through where you just came out, and you go at an angle towards the yellow one. And you want to aim towards the middle. Doesn't have to be perfect. And it came out. So there we go. We have 3 together. So if your thread's getting a little low, then I would go through once more and go back through probably the original one, which was the red. So now all 3 of these are anchored really well. And what you're going to do is you're going to make a knot. This is why it's also important to make sure your thread is long, because you need to make your knot, which I just did. And then you're going to bury that end. At least that's what I like to do. Bury the end so there's no loose threads hanging out. Ta-da! And trim it. All right, so now we have 3 quillies put together. I have lots more. You can just keep putting them together like this, and you can put them together so you have little flower designs. You can make gigantic mats. I have this tray here that I've been working on for a while. Oh, look, here's one that I didn't attach yet. And so sometimes I make these cute little designs, and then I find a place to attach them. Then I fill them in with other ones. I make little mats that I can fit in. And so it's just a work in progress. It's just a lot of fun. I find it relaxing, a little bit of a challenge, because if you want to fit it into a tray like this or some other kind of tray, you do have to do a little squishing and fitting, and maybe some bigger ones or smaller ones, see how they go. But I like it. It's a lot of fun. It's I can sit and just make a bunch of these while it's hot, and there's, you don't want to do a lot during the hot weather. And eventually this whole tray will be filled, and I'll have this really beautiful quilly project all done, and it will be a fantastic serving tray. And I hope you'll give quillies a try. or at least plan on doing it for the future, because I think we can all save our scraps and have fun. You can make really super little thin ones. I've done that, so they're just really, really thin. I've done big fat ones, and there is another Quilly video that I made a few years ago that shows how you can even do these nice zigzag ones that look like inchworms, and you end up putting those together too. So it's a lot of fun. It's another way to manipulate your wool and to use your leftovers. And don't forget, please, to like my video, subscribe on my YouTube channel. That way you'll be notified of all of the upcoming ones. And this is Ellen, Sister City Farm, and happy hooking. Bye.